Hi, welcome to the video for Chapter 5 of Ecce Romani. This chapter covers the idea of complementary infinitives. So we have two things to understand here. One is what is an infinitive, and the other is, building on that, what is a complementary infinitive. So to get started with the idea of an infinitive. So what is the infinitive? So the infinitive is one of the more common forms of a verb, and it is, in many ways, the root form of a verb in both English and in Latin. You can take your infinitive and you can turn it into whatever you want. If you want your verb in the present tense, you can do that off of the infinitive. Future tense, you can do that off of the infinitive. If you want to turn it into some sort of past tense, you might be able to do that off of the infinitive. And you can use it in the form of the complementary infinitive. So in English, we have we indicate our infinitive with the word to. So there are verbs like to give, to buy, to eat. And as a matter of fact, you can do this with almost any verb, and just by putting to in front of it. So I won't go through all the forms, but those are some examples. And we have them in English as well, but instead of using, we have them in Latin as well, but instead of using the word to indicate them, we use something else. They are indicated by an ending that is most often re. So they have re on the end of them. So we have our word ambulate. We get ambulare. We had our word sedet. We have sedere. We had our word ascendit. We have ascendere. So you'll notice that each one of these ends in an re. That is what indicates an infinitive in Latin. For the most part, most of the time, you will come to learn as you study more Latin that there are always exceptions. But for right now, we can get comfortable with this idea of the re ending for infinitives. And you'll notice that the vowel in front of them isn't always the same, and that's okay. It means something, which we'll get to. But for right now, the idea is infinitives end in re. So now we have this idea of the infinitive. Ambulare means to walk, whereas ambulate meant he or she walks, ambulant meant they walk, ambulare means to walk, sedere means to sit, ascendere means to climb. So how do we use those in sentences? Well, that's where the complementary infinitive comes in. You'll notice that the spelling of complementary is not the same as something that's free. It's not complementary, it's complementary. Which we also have the word complete. This starts with the same letters. So what a complementary infinitive is it's an infinitive that completes another verb. And in this case, we're going to see some verbs. In this chapter, we're going to begin to see verbs like possum, which means I am able. Well, it's not enough just to say I am able. You don't really have a full sentence there. Yes, it is a full sentence if you say I am able, but it does ask for something a little bit more. I'm able to eat a whole pizza by myself. There you go. You filled it in. I'm able to eat. So you filled it in using an infinitive, to eat. And we can do the same thing in Latin. If we wanted to say I'm able to walk, we could say possum ambulare. And there you have it. I'm able to walk. So you're going to see a good number of these in the story, and you're going to start to see more as we go along. They're going to go along with some other verbs that need completion. In addition to possum, we have nolo, which is I do not want or I do not wish. We have wolo, which is I wish. So I wish or I want to do something. I do not wish and I do not want to do something. Pero, which means I get ready to do something. I prepare to do something. Timeo, so I'm afraid to do something. So those are a number that we're going to see in this chapter and the next, in addition to possum, that are verbs that are incomplete verbs. They're incomplete, and they need to be completed by a complementary infinitive. So that's what the idea of complementary infinitives is. They complete other verbs. So to recap, infinitives in English, we think of them as to do something. In Latin, they end in re. And they can go with incomplete verbs. And then they become what's known as complementary infinitives. So just as an infinitive by itself can't stand, some of those verbs can't stand by themselves. And they need an infinitive to go with them. So that is what the complementary infinitive is. And be prepared to see it. Let me know what questions you have, and thanks for watching.